Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, fellow communities in Leeds, in Yorkshire, in the United Kingdom, and good morning to fellow Nigerians, Yorkshire community members. Um, just a quick one. What it is that I want to really weigh into this debate, and as a community or charity organization, when it comes to cost of living, it matters to us within our community that the government is doing the right thing, and the government should try and put any kind of political politics aside. Whatever conservatives or Labour or Libra or SDP, it's got nothing to do with the UK families that are going through hard time. Now, this debate of whether the PM is trying to make a decision on scrapping the HS2 to Manchester, is a kind of a surprise to me that at this point in time, when the UK families, are going through high cost of living, you know, and for me, from the history of what I know about the HS2 to Leeds was scrapped. There was no issues. Our Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, I'm not a conservative or Labour or any other party, but what I tend to do, and I tend to put on the YouTube as a voice to our communities, to the government, to councillors, to MPs, is that they need to put politics aside whenever we're trying to help families during the high cost of living. Politicians plays with, families' life, all because of what they want to score. Whether Conservative wants to score point, Labour wants to score point, Libra wants to score point, or SDP wants to score point. This scrapping of the HS2 to Manchester, it should not be a big debate. People should not be giving the Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, an headache. This is common sense. When you see some the MPs within the Conservative trying to rebel against the Prime Minister, all because of this idea, these are selfish MPs. These are selfish councillors. These are selfish political organizations that they do not think, they pretend, they sit down in number 10. They do not think about the lives of UK families that are going through high cost of living. We, the Nigerian Yorkshire Community Network, Group UKCIC, that we're based in Leeds, we know what we do on a daily basis to help families who are going through hard times. Families cannot afford 3 square meals. We have some families, we have some homeless. There is more homeless within our community. Asylum seekers are looking for food. And now the government is actually focusing, or people are focusing, pushing the government on funding for the HS2 to Manchester. The HS2 to Leeds was scrapped. There was no issue. Why is the HS2 to Manchester a big deal? We can always come back to this. The Prime Minister can say that we're going to put this at the back burner, put it on a lower priority. Once we have more money, the UK is owing trillions of pounds in debt. And you can see the amount of the way they've managed the HS2, is creating more debt to us. We're going to borrow money. I don't know why people can't see things clearly, in this 21st century. That we should focus on families' life, cost of living. It's now turned to a debate where the HS2 to Manchester versus UK families going through high cost of living. And that is what the Prime Minister is saying. We have trains that are going from Manchester to Leeds, going from Manchester to London, Leeds to London. The Prime Minister has stated his case. All we need to do is to upgrade all those existing rail line, make them to 21st century so that they can be on time. That is enough. As long as the government is spending money on infrastructure in the north, but you see some divisions of group will start saying that the Prime Minister has left aside the north. That is false. That is really false. From my own perspective, and I believe that from a lot of people's perspective, we should not be spending money on the HS2 to Manchester, billions of our pounds, when that money should be spent on UK family life cost of living. The government is going to be cutting down wages, and even money that the Department of Work and Pension is given to disabled, is given to people that are receiving universal credit. Families that are on health condition receiving universal credit. But they are now borrowing billions to spend money on HS2 to Manchester. This I don't really understand. I don't know what type of world we are. It's the same discussion when the Prime Minister said he was going to be approving 100 licenses for the oil and gas. And you see this net zero fanatics. Everybody keeps on coming up that the Prime Minister does not know what he's doing. The Prime Minister is putting the UK family that are going through high cost of living first. We can always achieve the net zero. The UK as a country cannot make any significant impact around the globe. The UK and all the other countries needs to come together to solve the problem of the global warming, climate change, and the net zero. The UK has done enough. And look at countries like China, America, India, Russia, everybody, the Middle East, they're pumping oil. I don't know why people are so focused, are so always criticizing the UK for not doing their bit on the net zero. In my own perspective, and I believe that some people will support my own perspective, is that the UK is trying enough. I don't know why these just oil protesters, net zero protesters, they don't put UK families first that are going through high cost of living. When I see this in the news on a daily basis, when I see news of, people fighting about the climate change, the net zero, the HS2 to Manchester versus the UK family high cost of living that is going on now, I don't know why people can't see that. And these are the people, the rich people. You talk about the net zero, the only people that can afford to buy an hybrid car is people that are rich. It's not for the poor. But we have some people that are there, that are in the rich class, that they're so selfish, they don't think about the middle class, they don't think about even the lower class. We, the Nigerian Yorkshire Community Network, as a community group, as a charity, our job is to continue to support families. The government should be putting more money to charity organizations, to community groups, to help families at this time. Families are still suffering. We are at the forefront delivering food parcels, free food parcels, food bank to family on a daily basis. And we know, we get all these stories about the news, about what is going on. So people should understand the difference between the HS2 to Manchester, the net zero, the climate change, versus the UK family going through high cost of living. There's a big difference. And the Prime Minister is trying to help families going through hard time. There is high mortgage, there is high rents that is going on at the moment. People don't think about that. People are thinking about the government going into more debt, borrowing money, and spending it on HS2 to Manchester. The HS2 to Leeds was scrapped. There was no issue. I don't know why people in this world, the way they live, they don't think about their family, they think about themselves. The climate change people, the net zero, the just oil, if they want to lay a very good example, they should turn their lights in their house off. They should not use lights. They should not use diesel oil. They should not drive in the streets. They should lay a very good example before jumping on the road protesting. I don't go against any protesting. It's our right to protest, but you protest at the right time. When we're accusing the Prime Minister that he has approved 100 licenses, the Prime Minister is right to state his case. What is the point of UK buying petrol from Middle East to power our lights when we're going through high cost of energy bills and etc.? People don't see that. People are so selfish. So I will appeal to people. People should think, people should put the UK families going through high cost of living first, and people should try and donate more to charity organizations like us, community group like us, so that we can help families. Charity organization, community groups within our community, within Yorkshire and within the UK, we need more funds so that we can help family, especially now that we're going into winter. So that is all I want to state. People should forget about HS2 to Manchester. We can only suspend that project and we can come back to it. And the Prime Minister has stated his case. And the MPs within the Conservatives that are rebelling against the Prime Minister, all because of these decisions, these are MPs that are selfish. They don't think about the family that are going through hard times. Even the Labour or Libra or SDP that are in the same league. They are selfish MPs and councillors and even chairmen and mayors. So my appeal is that I'm not against anybody, but let's put UK family that are going through high cost of living first. We should not be pushing the government to go and borrow more money. UK is in trillions, billions, pounds of debt. Do we want to go to more debt? We want to pass this debt to our children? That is what we should think about. We should stop being selfish. And that is my message to you. My name is Mr. J. Skolawole. I'm the founder and the president of the Nigerian Yorkshire Community Network. I just want to put this out there because the HS2 to Manchester is not a big deal. The HS2 to Leeds was scrapped. You know, the government can always come back to the HS2 to Manchester and Leeds in the later years. We don't have to do it now. Let's focus on being, taking care of families in the UK that are going through high cost of living, children that does not have anywhere to sleep. The homelessness in the UK street has gone up. Asylum seekers, they're not able to have enough support. Refugees and all community groups and charity. I don't think that we should be supporting this notion of approving HS2 to Manchester. Let us scrap it now. No matter what money we have spent or we have lost during the contract, that is fine. But we should focus. Community groups and charity within Leeds, within Yorkshire, should focus, please. Should focus, please, on families and stop pretending. The climate change, the net zero is a good thing, but we should not push people into poverty because we want to push people, because we want to achieve this. We have to go through gradually to make sure people are used to it, people are comfortable with it. Changing our house boilers into the net zero pipe boilers and etc. That is a good thing. Let's go steadily. Let's just not rush. But a lot of people are rushing because UK is always playing to the gallery. UK wants to play to the world that we're the first. We're not the first. Countries like America, countries like the European Union, a lot of countries out there, they're still pumping, they're still burning coal, they're still pumping oil. The UK is just a small part in the globe, and the UK cannot make any impact, not until everybody around the world comes together. That is what we should be working on, focusing everybody, advising every country to concentrate on climate change and net zero, but not forcing UK into poverty, the UK families and UK public into poverty because we want to achieve net zero. Why are we so bothered about the net zero climate change? The UK has been burning coal oil centuries. We've been polluting the air centuries. There was nothing that came through. Now we're focusing, trying to rush, trying to build Rome in one day, trying to achieve this in one day by putting families' lives into poverty, not thinking of the families that are going through high cost of living. This is my message to everybody, community groups, charity organizations, councillors, chairmen, mayors, and MPs within Leeds, Yorkshire, and the UK. Please, we need to rethink. Put family lives first. Let's focus on family lives. Let's support charity communities and organizations. That is my message. Thank you very much for listening. Bye-bye.